Hey, this is Anthony from RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Street and Steel Scrambler glove, available at RevZilla.com. This is the Scrambler. We had an internal debate today. We almost wanted to rename it the Sizzler because it is a lot of sizzler. But it's not the most steak. This glove is coming at it from a pure style perspective, and it looks great. You have the brown, which I'm wearing. You have the olive on the left side of the table, 2 colors available. It comes in under the $100 mark, but it is really built to be a vintage style piece with base moto functionality. Full grain leather is nice. It is a soft knuckle, it's nice. The vintage and roughed accents and raw leather are great, but it's missing some key things. And some of those key things are outseam protection, touch tech finger, any kind of reflective. Ultimately, they've stripped it down and made it more vintage. But much like we've seen from the rest of the Street and Steel line, they won't break the bank here. They're coming in around the $70 mark. So ultimately, if you want a glove that's going to look great, be vintage, cover you really fall and spring because it's not the most breathable, but it's not the most warm, this could work without seeing you having to invest over $100 mark for a more premium vintage-inspired glove. Now, I will say that while you're making trade-offs versus style and functionality, depending on if the Scrambler or Sizzler works for you, let's talk about fit really quickly. I'm wearing a size large. It's American cut. The Street and Steel line is all American cut in its gloves. I wear large in Icon. I wear large in Revit. I wear large in First Gear. I typically wear large in Street and Steel, where I'm going to be more of an XL in Alps or in Dainese. But here's the kicker that's a little different about the Scrambler glove. I have an issue with the fingers. They're not they're pre-curved, but they're not externally stitched, and that's not my big gripe. My big gripe is the termination of the fingers, because for a size large, they need to be a 1/4 inch longer if they're going to terminate the stitching on the inside of the glove. Now, if the fingers were externally stitched and you had 4 points of stitch coming together at the tip of the finger, I'm fine with it. I don't feel that. But what I feel right now is the tip of each one of my fingers, especially when I start to work the controls, starting to push against the tips of the finger. It's feeling that seam and that knot right on the inside of the glove. To me, that's an issue. To you, it might not be. I have long guitar fingers, and they're going to butt up against it. If you have shorter hands, the width of these fingers is totally fine. But you have to keep in mind that you might be getting this glove, and if you feel them, they might become annoying as you ride. And once you take this out for 30 or 50 miles and start getting to the point where like, oh shoot, I feel them, you've worn it, you've used it, it's a little bit tougher, if not possible, to send them back. So really keep that in mind going in, that it's not the fit scheme, but it's the length and termination of the seams in the fingers that might be the thing that jumps out at you that you don't like about wearing an otherwise great looking glove that again has a ton of bang for the buck. Now, use the size chart, we'll ship free over 39 bucks. I'd love if you click our logo, subscribe to RevZilla on our YouTube channel, leave your comments, request your feedback here on the Scrambler glove. Diving into some of the other nuance, again, it's a premium vintage cowhide. You see the roughed area. I like that they put this reinforced panel, which has this hard foam to it, but it's not a hard TPR on the top of the knuckle, and they seated it on top of an elasticated panel to allow it to work with you. The stitched, almost caterpillars on each finger actually add to the style of the glove. They're a nice touch, and it carries that vintage element throughout. Rolling into the palm, big reinforced control zone, whether you're on clip-ons, depending on how you're seating your hands on the bars. Great control patch here on the crook of the thumb into the finger on where it lives. There's no touchscreen device here. Again, we call that out. You're not getting any outseam protection. I actually like, too, that they gave you some stitching here just to pull things together and tweak the style. The other thing about this glove is it's non-Velcro. It snaps. So again, it's just being a little bit more true to the style element where you're more vintage inspired, you're a little less technical. You want to match your gear to your bike. I get it. But ultimately, it's trade-offs, and know that going in. The next step in your journey is to click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com. Read other rider reviews. You shouldn't just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship free over 39 bucks. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember to subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion, the latest and greatest in the moto universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.